Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. So, I was asked if I could go over which holdings I have in my portfolio, and that's good because I spent all day on the side of a mountain. I mean, I live on the side of a mountain, but this was a different mountain in a different state, and I was watching my nieces and nephews participate in a skiing competition. And so it was a lot. We had to wake up before dawn. It took like 4 hours to do, even though it only takes like a minute for each of the kids, like just like a minute and a half for each of the kids to go from the top of the slope to the bottom of the slope. So um, there was definitely a ton to do. But my sister got a new puppy, and since they were watching the kids, I volunteered to puppy sit, and so you get bonus dogs before we get started. So this is Kion, and I will probably not see Kion very much, but he is such a cute puppy. So there you go. um, anyways, so I have made a video about this before, but I do something called silos. So I've decided that I want a group of ETFs to play together as a single part of my portfolio. And the reasoning for that is I want, a weekly paying high income ETF, maybe a monthly paying high income ETF, the underlying, the momentum version of the underlying, a 2x and a 3x, and the combined percentages together, that should only be a certain part of my entire portfolio. And tonight I added the SPY leap because, like, without it, it looks like it's only like 10% of my portfolio. But I did spend $9,470 on the SPY leap, and then this is what the SPY leap is worth now. So SPY, I have the goal of it being 25% of my portfolio, and as far as I'm concerned, it's at 24.63% of my portfolio. So we've got that going for us, which is nice. The NASDAQ, I do have QQQ. Oh, no, I said I don't have QQQ. I have QDTE and TQQQ. QQQA, QQQP are the trader ones, and they don't do fractional shares on Robinhood at the moment. And so I'm actually quite happy with the almost 90% in QDTE and 12% in TQQQ. I think I'll focus on QDTE more and make that like a 90-10% for the TQQQ portion of my NASDAQ 100. And the goal for that is for it to be 25%, but we are working towards that. Although in March I'm not buying anything, so we probably won't see much progress in all of these unless some of these take a run for it and some of these don't. So then for the Russell 2000, we have RDTE, XMO, UWM, and TNA, and I have been focusing on just growing RDTE for the most part. I also don't have very strong feelings for the Russell 2000, so I might, when I do a mid-year review, which will happen after I pay off my debts in July, we'll see if I just, sell everything. RDTE's been pretty good pair from Roundhill. Don't get that twisted, but I just don't care that much about the small caps, and they do underperform. So I will take a closer look. I might just keep it because it's the trio, but I don't have any real plans for it in my portfolio. it might get downgraded to like the trash section that I have. So Bitcoin, the goal is for it to only be 30% of my portfolio. And since I sold some Misty, we're now at 45%. So this doesn't include options, but I didn't want to sell any crypto. I wanted to grow the rest of my portfolio so that I could handle the amount of crypto that I already had. But I also wound up selling out of Maro and BitU and MSTX during the downtrend, just because I do have so much MSTU and so much Misty in the options and otherwise. So BitO is good. I have a couple calls on it, but like if this is also something that I can just use to do the dividend wheel strategy. So then we have the AI semiconductor, and this is overweight in my portfolio, and I definitely felt it during this last little dip. So I have a lot of NVIDIA it had a lot of momentum, and it was paying over 100%, so I was just going 50 in NVIDIA, 50% in Misty, and then it stopped paying 100%, so I stopped contributing towards it. So that's why there's such a big difference between how much I own in Misty and how much I own in NVIDIA. But just because this is paying like 50% on average now, like that just means it takes 4 years. No, like 2 years for me to get my ROI, which is still amazing. So I haven't sold out of NVIDIA. I don't think I'm going to. I just am not adding to the position. So I do have a little bit of NVIDIA and a little bit of Palantir, but not much. And then NVIDIA was my free stock for signing on to Robinhood, so that doesn't mean anything. It's just a little sentimental. And then GBTY, I have $130 worth. So when I rebalance things in July, then we'll get that like an official percent of what this should be within my portfolio. But overall, it is 14%, and it should be 5%. So we really need to start working on getting my NASDAQ 100 up, because it's only like 2.4% of my total portfolio. So then we have the trash polka, which is all of the things that I had wanted to invest in, and I don't need large positions. It's just so that I can feel like I am doing things. So I have SoFi and Ulti and AMD and Honest, and well, I don't have Granny shares, but I do have it listed because it's on my list of things that I want. And AMD, AMZY. I sold out of TSL this week. I never had UYG, it was just a placeholder. MagX I still own. LabU is just a wish list item, and Meta's also a wish list item. Maro got sold. 5e I own. TSYY I own 2 shares, and then AMDY is listed twice. Go me. Yep, I definitely did that twice. Okay. Well, then we'll just do one of we'll do one of these. I wanted to do AMD so much that I did it twice. But this is supposed to be 10%. This is 10.5%. So I'm not that over leveraged in my like random miscellaneous stuff, but it sure does feel like it. And I'm actively working on getting rid of Ulti. I have a cover call on it, and we'll get this balanced out. And then I have so many options out, but they're mostly MSTU. I have like 19 of them out right now, so that's just a lot of collateral that I'm using for MSTU. And then I have a couple of MSTUI calls. I have I have a put on SoFi, but I think I have 2 cover calls out on SoFi. And then I'm doing the dividend wheel on Bitto for my 100 shares I own. And I have like 240 something Nvidia shares, so I have 2 cover calls out on Nvidia. My ulti I'm trying to get rid of, and then we have my SPY call, and we have a call out on the Honest Company, which the Honest Company is a growth gamble stock, and they make like diapers and stuff ethically. So it sounded like a cool stock, and I did cover calls on them. So, or like I bought 100 shares so I could do cover calls, and it's pretty cheap, and it has a good IV, I believe. At least it did when I first got into it. So, yeah, the implied volatility is 75%. So, I mean, that's pretty good. So, the only bad thing is that I'm pretty sure this trades quarterly. So it's not like I can switch it out every week like I do with Misty or MSTU. So I don't really regret doing all of these things because, like I said yesterday, I'm starting to get, over $1,000 per week. And that gets me closer and closer to being able to, match what I'm getting at from my work, my take-home pay right now. And if I can do that, then I don't have to like implode everything. I can just live and work on YieldMight full-time and, work on my personal projects full-time and just, it's not really early retire because I don't have enough money for that, but it will give me enough runway to be able to try that during the next, all this economic turmoil instead of being stressed about finding a new job. So I thought you all would like to know, and I'd like to explain what happened because I want to share what I also earned on Ko-Fi and through YouTube. But someone gave me $1,000 tip in February. And so that really skewed the numbers. And I'm not complaining, like you could do that anytime, honestly. But I think the majority of people that have been donating have been doing like $5 to $20. I mean, I'm not going to cap anyone. And that also made me rethink. I was going to, as we get more advanced options, maybe have a subscription and have people pay for premium. But on Ko-Fi, you can set up a subscription, and 4 people have done that so far. And if every once in a while I get $1,000 tip, if I was, charging $20 per month for my website, then I wouldn't have gotten that $1,000. Or I probably would have been like, pay me $1 a month. And then, someone would gladly pay me $2 if they meant to give me $1,000 if they thought that I deserved that. So that's why I've been like, we'll just continue talking about YieldMight because you can say like I launched it and people were excited and I didn't really mention it, and then I started to mention it again in January, and then in February I had some more new features, and I've been talking more about YieldMight every video. So I'm sorry if you think it's boring, but it has raised awareness for YieldMight, and I do appreciate people who get me a coffee because I'm still working through getting ads on this website. and I haven't figured out like how I would want to do paid content. And there has been an increasing number of people that have been asking for like a Patreon or like a Discord group. If you really want to be in a Discord group, go to Retire on Dividends and go to his Discord. He's the only Discord I'm in, and he runs a really good ship over there, and so you would get most of your questions answered. So what I'm saying is I've thought about maybe making a membership on my YouTube, but the only thing that I would do that's not a regular video would be like, do you really want to watch me groggily on Monday morning on my phone, set up all of my options, and just record myself whenever I happen to do an options play? But like, now that I'm employed, you know, I'm not saying that I'm in meetings doing options, but it's not out of the realm of possibility that that happens, and I don't want to get fired for, checking my phone and opening up a position or rolling a position while I'm in a meeting that could have been an email. So, yeah, please don't try to contact my employer and tell them to fire me, because I just said that. Anyways, YieldMight. What you can do is you say, I have $800 to invest this month, or whatever time period you have. And based off of the last distribution, this is displaying what you could have gotten. And this is the latest payout, but I have decided to normalize it to weekly, monthly, and annually. That way you can quickly say, like, every month I should get around $38 from LFGY, and for YMAX it would be around $30. And if you click into one of these and you're like, oh, 5E looks good, and it's had 2 payments, so this shows you the price and the distribution amount. So it gives, let me find one with more about Goop. So you can see that the distribution amount is like not 100% flat, but it's been pretty consistent. And then the price hasn't actually stayed the same for Goop, but it has recovered once it's gone down, which is nice to see. So I've been trying to do better at keeping this updated. There are a couple of ones like PLTW from Round Hill that pay on Tuesdays. I haven't added yet, but I will make a change so that, because these are weeklies and Wednesdays, so we'll have the Fridays. And if Round Hill decides to do their categories like 1 through 5 so that they have weeklies every day of the week, I have the infrastructure on here to do it. I just need to add the logic for Fridays. So we got that going for us, which is nice. So I did not actually publish anything today for Financial Philharmonics, but I am trying to monetize that. And yeah, I will talk. Let me know. Have you thought about doing your portfolio as your silos, or it is it's complicated, and like, I didn't want to just pick one. Like, there are circumstances where actually owning QQQ will be better than owning QDTE. There will be times when SPMO does better than VU. There's times when the 2X and the 3X, because like cover call ETFs they cap your upside. And so I view it as like, if I have the underlying and that's a 1, then cover call ETFs are like a 0.9. So then there's a like perfect balance that has been researched. You put in formulas or whatever, but like the perfect amount of leverage for the S&P 500 is 1.6. So how can I use UPRO and XTTE? Like what combination can I use between those two to get to my 1.6 and just stick with it? So that's probably how you'll see me simplify my portfolio in July, where it's just like XTTE and UPRO. So instead of having 5 different stocks to track, it'll just be 2. So exciting times. And let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.